Welcome back. I'm Helen.
I'm James.
And we are global nomads. And in 2024, we sold everything we owned to travel the world full time. This is part 2 in our Sri Lanka series. If you missed part 1, you need to go back and check that out, where we traveled around Colombo. And today we are going to be heading towards Sigirya, our next stop on our trip. Good morning from Colombo. Today we're actually going to be leaving Colombo and headed to our next stop in Sigirya. Bit more out in the country, but nice to leave the city actually. Our driver should be here shortly, hopefully, and we'll be heading out there soon. So we found this driver because it was the same company that we did the city Tuk Tuk tour with the other day. And he did say he had cars too. So we're going to hopefully see him at 11 a.m. and he's going to drive us, it's about 3 hours, over to Sigirya. They're charging us $90 for a private car. It's about the same as an Uber. The hotel car wanted to charge us almost $300 though, which obviously was a big difference. So I guess it remains to be seen whether we made the good choice or not. So we'll see you in Sigirya. And off we go. Thank you. So car number 2.
So this is what happened. So we paid $90 through a guy to organise it through Get Your Guide. We also did a tuk-tuk ride, and that tuk-tuk ride went perfectly well. And $90 to take us from here, Colombo, to Sigirya. And he turned up, and seatbelts didn't even work. The car was complete junker, and we spoke to the manager of the hotel, and he advised us that there's been an embargo for about 6 or 7 years on new cars, there's issues, and he warned us that this might happen. So we paid the money, which worked out, instead of $90, it worked out to $250 to have a car that would get us there and we'd still be alive, as we have been on Sri Lankan roads and we know the importance of a seatbelt, which the other one did not have. So here we go, take 2.
The drive from Colombo to Sigirya is about 112 miles or 180 kilometers. And if you listen to Google, it told us it was going to take about 2.5 hours. It actually took 4.5. We did stop very briefly, but basically Google is pretty unreliable if you're looking at road directions for Sri Lanka. Most of the drive is on single carriageway roads and you're going through towns. There's very little where you're doing more than about 40-50 miles an hour tops, unless you're a public bus, and they are a law unto themselves and they're driving at about 60 miles an hour. But just be aware that any route you're taking, basically it's going to take a lot longer than Google tells you it will.
About 2 hours into our journey, and we pulled over for a bit of a rest stop. There's kind of a family restaurant stroke service station, and we sat and had lunch next to the Oya River.
About 3 miles before reaching the hotel, we did break off the main road, and then the remainder is basically dirt road. There's quite a lot of dirt roads around Sigirya, and this dirt road was then going to take us up to the hotel entrance.
Okay, so here we are at the Sigirya Forest Edge. So that's what it's going to look like in 2026. At the moment there's just 10 villas. This place opened in April 2024, so it's been open about 8-9 months, and it has 10 villas, of which we're in Villa 6. Okay, still got Christmas decorations up, and then Here's reception. Look at those cool pictures. And as you can see, very open air, very Caribbean. Now we're going to walk to the villa. So we haven't got far to go. We have the pool up there. Hot tubs are in the corner. We have the exercise rooms on the left, as well as the spa, which we've also got video of. And then we come down into this area, and it's called Forest Edge for a reason. You really are in the forest. So, little water feature, plenty of fish in there, as you can see. And then we go up here, and each villa is on stilts. So I'm just going to show you from here and kind of see that they're raised above the ground. And there's a reason for that. So we come along here. As you can see, we're literally now in the trees. So we're only, what, 10 feet off the ground? But you can see all around, the trees are everywhere. And these trees have obviously been here for a while, because this resort has only been established for 8 months. So everywhere you walk, you can see trees. Now, as you can see, you've got a whole passage here, and this is where the monkeys run. So the monkeys will regularly cross over here. Also, I think we have some video of a Sri Lankan squirrel, which is huge. Lots of different animals in this jungle area, and we regularly, because the trees are touching the top of the villas, you can actually hear the monkeys running over the top of your villa, depending on what time of day and what mood they're in. So we haven't seen that many monkeys as such. We've seen lots of birds, and we've heard lots of monkeys, but we've seen monkeys all over the place here, so we know there's loads of monkeys here. And there's an actual sign saying, "Do not feed monkeys, and keep your door closed so the monkeys don't go into your room." So that'd be a good idea. So here you are, here's our villa, number 6, and you can see from here that the trees literally are touching the villa. So as a result, the monkeys will just run over the trees straight over the top of your villa. So you can hear them on the roof, because it's kind of a tin roof. And then from there, they will run into the next lot of trees. So yeah, only 10 villas. So 7, 8, 9 and 10 are down there.
Hello and welcome to Sigirya Forest Edge. Now this is going to be a little bit unusual, because I'm actually going to show you the outside of the room first, and then we're going to go inside. I say room, it's actually more like a standalone villa, because each of these rooms is an actual standalone room. It's elevated, we're up on stilts, and there's like this raised walkway to get to it. And then if we go around the outside, actually, sorry, before I say that, we're in villa number 6. And to start off, we've got this nice seating area. You can see the nice tiled deck as well. Everything's lovely and clean. I think this is a pretty new resort, but we've got some nice deck area here. We do have this little word of advice though, to not feed the monkeys, and to keep doors and windows closed to stop the mosquitoes, because we are in the jungle. So we are going to do this quickly, because it is getting to dusk and we are going to get bit. So to start off, we do have this walkway that goes all the way around the edge. doesn't get much more jungle than this now, does it? Really, really nice. So quiet. I don't know if you can hear the birds, but having just come from Colombo where it was craziness city, this is such a nice treat to have some peace and quiet. And there we go, we can walk all the way around. And then we're back round to the front. So you have this nice kind of walkway all the way around. So let's go inside and I'll show you around. So, first of all, to our left, we've got the bathroom as you come in. Really nice and clean, everything you need, completely tiled, really nice big shower. This is like a double-sized shower, a really, really nice big shower. 2 shower heads, so the overhead rain head and the handheld. And we actually have the same amenities as we had at the Hilton in Colombo, so that's nice too. These were actually really nice. I'm not even sure what brands they are, but they were really nice. Lots of branded things in here. We've got toothbrushes. I do like that the elephant is their little logo. I like elephants. So we've got a toothbrush kit, shaving kit, shower caps, and a little vanity kit. Obviously soap. Sink. Hairdryer on the wall. Lots of nice shelving and extra towels. And loo with the obligatory bum gun. I mean, what else do you need? Really nice and airy. Tile floor to ceiling. Clean. What more can you ask for? So the room is actually a really nice big size too. Over on this side we've got a really nice big TV. I was not expecting this. This is, I would guess this is like a 55-inch TV, something like that. And more importantly, it's on an arm, so it comes away from the wall. So we can put the Fire Stick in and actually watch some TV shows as well. Not that we're here to watch TV, I know that's what you're thinking, but we can if we want to. Now, we actually didn't realise this when we booked this room, but the minibar is actually free. Minibar's under here, so there's a little fridge. There's not much in there, just a few soft drinks, but it's still nice that it's free. I'm guessing if we wanted a couple more things that they would give those to us too. And we also got one of these is ours already, but we got 2 full-size bottles of water as well. And a tea kettle. I'm also impressed with that. And a good range of teas and coffees in here too. The all-important English breakfast tea, but also cinnamon tea. If you didn't know, Sri Lanka was known as the Cinnamon Isle because that was the first thing that the Arabs came here for. So this drawer we've got some cookies, some nuts, cups, wine glasses even. So yeah, pretty nice mix of tea and coffee there. Really nice solid units, solid surface counter. I think this is granite, it feels like. And then we've got a nice little desk area over here. Like I said, this is a fairly new resort, so we have got some USBs, USB-As, the regular outlets that you have here in Sri Lanka, so the 3-pin outlets, 220 volt. Phone, obviously we can find out about the spa and things. Now this hotel, because Forest Edge, its name should give it away, we are literally in the forest, like it's a dirt track to come down here. So there's really nothing else around. So we are here on a breakfast and dinner basis, which honestly I think you would need because there's literally nothing around for about 3 miles apart from a few other hotels. I don't think there's any restaurants or anything like that. Anyway, we've got this full length wall of windows. Hopefully we're going to see some monkeys out of here later at some point. But I'm guessing that's why we've got lots of windows. Really nice big bed. It's listed as a queen size bed on booking.com, which is how we booked this. It's not, it's a king. I thought it would be, but it's a king. It's also nice and squishy. And they've got really nice soft pillows as well, really nice supportive pillows. Linens don't feel bad either. We have got the mosquito netting. Obviously it's closed up, so this is, I'm guessing, just decorative only. Bedside lamp and a nice bedside cupboard. No USB points here, just drawers. Nice little notepad. There is an outlet though, but no USBs over here. On this side we've got the same TV remote, bedside cabinet, and again another outlet and the light switches, but no USB. But this furniture is really nice and solid furniture. We've then got our little couch in the corner, which the handles would give away that it's a sofa bed. So I'm guessing you can have a third person in here, and it's nice and soft as well. It's quite comfortable. And I do like how you have this little chaise area on the end as well, so you can put your feet up, which I like to do. Nice little coffee table. And then we've got the closet in the corner. So the closet's got all the usual things in, robes, ironing board, even slippers. We've got the laundry bag on the bottom, and then a little shoe mitt and a torch. And obviously a safe, a big enough safe to get your laptop in as well. Not that many hangers, but we're not going to hang much stuff up, so that shouldn't be a problem. And show up on top. And then finally, we've got the luggage rack here, again with storage in as well, which is nice. And room on the bottom to put your shoes. I like how that comes out. Or your case, whatever, but at least you can put it out easily. Then we've got our AC and all our lights. You do have to have the key in to make the lights and electricity and everything work. But AC, it's pretty blooming nice, I have to say. So that's it, like I said. This is Sigirya Forest Edge here in Sigirya, Sri Lanka. So after a bit of an eventful drive here today, including the first car not working, literally and figuratively, and we had to
welcome to Colombo, Sri Lanka.
We had to get another car, so we did eventually get here. It took us about 4.5 hours to get here from Colombo. It's 171, I think, kilometers.
Something like that.
So that's like 90 miles, maybe 80 miles. That's how bad the roads are here. So we're going to go for a quick dinner and see what the food is like here. Once we figured out how to lock the door.
Who uses keys?
It's an old school key.
Right, you just have to turn it like 400 times. There we go.
Okay, got it. It's really nice how it's lit up actually. More birds. So we are in the villas here, and we need to walk down to the main building. You can see they've got it lit. This is the walkway underneath us. What?
Is that termites?
Oh yeah, the mound. I don't know, it could be, or ants, I'm not sure. So we're going to walk down to the main building for the restaurant. Maybe should have brought the torch with us. There is a torch in the room, but we didn't bring it. I didn't think it would be this dark. So in terms of mobility purposes, all these walkways are angled, they're like sloped. So although we're elevated, there isn't actually any steps, which is nice for old people like me anyway. And we are here just into the new year, so they still have their Christmas decorations up as well. Oh my god, they've got Christmas elephants. Oh no, they're deer. I thought they were elephants. They are deer. Reindeers. I'm obviously big into elephant obsessed. So this is the main building with the reception right here. And then the parking lot is over here. We'll show you more in the daytime too. Ah, and there's the pool and spa lit up over there. You can't really see it now because it's too dark, but we'll see it in the morning. Evening. You got up to the restaurant, yeah?
So because of the remoteness of this particular resort, we had breakfast in the resort and we also had our evening meals in the resort.
Hello.
And the breakfast, we went to a half board package. Breakfast was okay, nothing crazy to shout about, but there's only 10 rooms, so obviously it's going to ramp up in terms of quality of service. And then in an evening meal, we had a 3-course menu or a 4-course menu. It's kind of strange because you could never mix from the 2 menus. So you had to stick on one or stick on the other.
There was also a good selection of Asian, Indian, Sri Lankan. Those hoppers were there again, if you saw the hoppers in our first video. And also Western options as well. So if you wanted cereal, that was fine, or pancakes. But also you could have Asian options. So there was curries and noodles as well. So here we are in the social areas. At the end behind us, we've got a pool table. And then in here there's going to be our ping pong table, and then right here we've got a gym, which is kind of small but looks really well equipped. And then behind me is the pool. Now there are only 10 rooms open here at the moment. This is January 2024, we're recording this. No, it's January 2025. Just kidding. So it's January 2025, we're here. There are only 10 rooms open at the moment. So there are big plans and they're still building, but there's no construction noise or anything. But it's going to be a much bigger resort with a couple of more pools as well. So there is more coming. There's also a couple of hot tubs in the corner too. If you come to Sigirya, the thing that you're obviously really probably going to want to do is an elephant safari. Usually the parks that you would go to in the local area are going to be Minaria and Kadula. Both of these, unfortunately, those were closed because they were flooded. There's been an awful lot of rain, and actually into January there continued to be a lot of rain across all of Sri Lanka. So the park that we went to is the Eco Park. Now all 3 of these parks are linked, and the elephants are actually free to roam because they're wild elephants. They can actually roam between any of those 3, but they will obviously stay away from the ones that are flooded. The drivers, the safari drivers, are going to know where the elephants are. So if you book a safari, they're going to take you to where the elephants are. So even if you book a tour to Minaria, if you can't go there because it's flooded or the elephants are not there, they're going to take you to where the elephants are. Good morning from Sigirya in Sri Lanka. So today we are at the Eco Park. I will put the name of it maybe in the comments because I can't remember the name of it, and I certainly can't say it. To go on an elephant safari. So we're looking for elephants. We saw a whole load of birds on the way here too, egrets, eagle, absolutely gorgeous blue kingfisher. So now we are off in search of elephants and other animals.
So the first day's tour we booked with a gentleman that we know that we used for photography tours, and he had a guide, and that's how we booked this tour. It wasn't the best of vehicles. Suspension was non-existent.
I think he told us it was a 1985 truck.
1885.
It did seem more like 1885, yeah.
So the roads through the eco park, well, there's not roads, they're just dirt tracks, are awful. Seriously, if you have back injuries or you can have some issues there, it's pretty bad. And having an older type vehicle really didn't help that situation. The other thing that didn't help, we went with this guide, and I don't think he was used to doing this particular tour. So the guides talked to each other, and they didn't really talk to him. So we kind of missed out on a lot of the things to see because the guides were communicating with each other, and this guide was kind of left out the loop. There was also a viewing point, which was up this rock, and that gave you a good view of the whole of the park. But we really didn't see a great deal on this day, other than the wildlife of birds and things like that. Didn't really see, we saw a few elephants, but not a great deal.
The other thing to note about the eco park is that there's very long grass there, and it's more heavily wooded. So if you do see the elephants, you're not going to see them as clearly as you would see them in Minaria or Kadula. In a previous trip in 2018, if you want to see elephants, we actually went to the south of the island to Udawalawe, which is a huge national park, and there's amazing opportunities to see elephants there. So if elephants are what you're going for, then that's the place to go. So we're off for Elephant Safari 2.0 in a bit more comfy truck this time as well.
Yeah, suspension.
Hopefully we get to see some elephants this time. Elephant Safari 2.0 was way more successful. We had a really great guide. He was really on it, looking to know where to find the elephants and talking to the other guides. The Jeep was so much more comfortable. It was a really nice brand new Jeep. Now we booked this one through the hotel, so I'm sure we paid a little bit more, but this for 4 hours, and we absolutely got our 4 hours worth here. I think we were actually a bit longer than that, was about $60 US. And that was for a private Jeep, so there was just us, which if you can have the budget to do it, I would definitely recommend, because then you're only going to go where you want to go. And if you want to take photos, like I was taking a lot of photos with my big girl Nikon DSLR, then you've obviously got no one in your way, and you can go where you want to go and ask them to back up and go forwards and all that stuff too. So if you have the budget, definitely do a private safari if possible. The first elephant safari we did was a morning tour, so you start super early, like 5-6 a.m. This second tour was an afternoon tour, and like we said, we saw a lot more elephants. I think that was more down to the guide knowing where to go rather than the time of day though, because on his morning tour that he'd done, he'd also said they'd seen a sloth bear, which we didn't get to see any of the national parks, and they'd also seen a leopard in this park as well. So there are leopards across the whole island. We didn't get to see any leopards until later on when we got to Yala, but bear that in mind as well. I also think that it was more crowded because the other two parks were closed. So there were times when we did see the elephants, there were quite a few Jeeps around us. But that said, that the guys are really quite respectful to the elephants. They're not chasing them or making them feel closed in, but be aware, you know, you are going to see more Jeeps. But I think a lot of that was also down to we could only go to this one park and we couldn't go to the bigger parks. I do know from photos and research I'd done in Minaria that it's much more of a plains type approach, and people there had told us they'd seen like 200 elephants at the same time in groups. You know, we didn't get to experience that at the eco park, unfortunately, but there's still, rest assured, you are going to see elephants. The next morning we headed out to Lions Rock, and along the way in the village just outside of there are quite a few restaurants and shops, and also a couple of tours selling rides on elephants. We saw this guy having a bath in the river with his mahout on the way to Lions Rock. Please, please do not ride the elephants. These elephants typically have been forced into this work. They can experience back and neck injuries from people riding them, and in order to sort of tame them to be able to do this, typically the training, I use the term loosely, is being beaten in order to become submissive for this kind of action to happen. Please, please do not support this. Do not ride them. Do not take part in anything that involves elephants not being wild. You may also want to bear in mind in Sigirya especially, in Sri Lanka generally, but in Sigirya especially, there are a lot of stray dogs, a lot of stray dogs. If you are dog lovers like we are, you may find this quite upsetting. There's so many stray dogs. We did try to feed some, but be aware you are going to see stray dogs everywhere. Good morning from Sigirya here in Sri Lanka. So today we're going to be exploring Lions Rock. We'll tell you a little bit more about it later. We're going to go in, take a look around. You can climb it. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to do that today. But we're going to take a look around, probably go into the museum and share it with you. So come along with us.
So Lions Rock is 590 feet high. It was built by King Kashyapa between AD 477 and 495, and it was intended to be the capital. He built a palace on top of the rock, and it's called Lions Rock because halfway up are two lion's paws, which is all remaining of what was the palace. You walk through the two paws, and then you get to the top, which is where the palace was. The lion's paws are about halfway up, and halfway up is about 600 steps. To get to the top is about 1,200 steps. It will take you between an hour and a half and 3 hours. Come early in the morning. It gets really hot and really humid, and lots of people can't make it to the top. We go to the museum where there is a ticket booth. We pay the $35 US per person to get into the museum and into the main complex. You can pay with a credit card if you like. And then once you've paid your fee, you walk down the path past the monkeys and stray dogs, and then you enter the main complex.
Surrounding the actual complex site is a moat, and that's where you'll actually show your entrance ticket to go in. If you were not able to make the climb to the top of Lions Rock, which I couldn't do, we decided to take a tuk-tuk, which is located right outside of the entrance gate by the moat, where you'll come in. There's 2 or 3 of them lined up there. They basically charge at around about $20 US, and they'll take you on an hour tour all around the complex and to some various sites where you can get some great views of the rock. For us, it was well worth it. They took us to some really nice locations, and because I wasn't physically able to climb the rock, it made a little bit more of the day for me. On the tuk-tuk tour, we were able to see a monitor lizard, a really big one actually, and lots of monkeys, a cow at the side of the road. Lots of people in Sri Lanka own cows, and we'll just keep them tied up in their yards. And also yet more stray dogs. As I said before, be aware you are going to see a lot of stray dogs. But this was a real compromise way to be able to see Lions Rock, see around the area, but unfortunately not climb it.
Okay.
So here we are, Lions Rock. We decided we couldn't walk to the top, so we took a tuk-tuk instead, with the lovely Rashad here. And what a great view. What a great view.
The next day we book a tour through the hotel to go to Polonnaruwa, which was one of the capitals of Sri Lanka. It was rediscovered in 1903, but was originally the capital in the 12th century when this structure was constructed. It's on 122 hectares, but the whole structure is a lot more compact than somewhere like Siem Reap if you've ever been there. Fun fact, most of the places we actually attend in Sri Lanka, including Lion Rock and Polonnaruwa, can be seen on the Duran Duran video from 1982, Save a Prayer. The entrance fee to get into Polonnaruwa was $30 per person, and you can again pay with the credit card. And then once you're in, you can have the services of a guide. The guide, I think, cost us about $10, and he took us around in a tuk-tuk and then gave us a full detailed description of everywhere we went. I think it lasted about 2 hours. And we got to see lots of places from the comfort of a tuk-tuk.
People build the house used for this clay. This is for the macaque. Always very macaque.
The site is also home to purple-faced langurs, which are a different type of monkey to what you will normally see, and the ones that are at Lions Rock. There was quite a few of them. It was quite cool to watch them swing between the trees as well. Again, of course, there's also a lot of stray dogs here, so be prepared that you are going to see them.
The Polonnaruwa complex is quite large. The first thing we saw was the house where the king held his 18 wives, and then we moved on to a structure which was dedicated to the dwarfs, which were quite revered in the Sri Lankan culture. We then moved on to the Polonnaruwa Vatadage, Vatadage. I can't pronounce it. And that is where the 4 Buddhas point north, south, east and west very accurately, and they protected the temple of the tooth relic, which was in a stupa. That has since been moved over to Kandy, so is no longer there, but the structure itself is still there in quite good condition. The whole area is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and continues to be preserved to this day.
About halfway round, our tuk-tuk driver and guide did stop, and we had a fresh coconut, which was nice and refreshing to have a little bit of a break from the heat and have a drink.
At the end of the tour, we saw a reclining Buddha, which depicted reaching Parinithara, or liberation from the cycle of death and rebirth. While driving through Sri Lanka, it is not uncommon to see elephants on the side of the road, and occasionally they'll come along and say hello to you.
So thanks for joining us in Sigirya. We really enjoyed our time here, much more actually than we thought we would. We weren't 100% sure how much there was going to be to do here. We'll leave links in the description to some of the places we visited and the hotel, again, which was a great stay. So join us next time for part 3, where we are going to be heading to Kandy.
Like, subscribe, and you can follow along with all our adventures.
Thanks for watching.